500 long miles of racing was hard on engines, drivers, and teams, but Californian Jimmie Johnson was the one left standing at Auto Club Speedway on a day that had a little bit of everything. A little bit of rain, hot dog wrappers, and a reversal of fortune for a four-time defending champion. P35 at Daytona, but here Jimmie Johnson emerges victorious on the track that he calls home. And we are calling this our home away from home for NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, right next to the Auto Club Victory Lane here. We're in the middle of it all. The confetti is flying and the fans are flocking around Jimmie Johnson because this is the 5th time he has visited this Victory Lane at Auto Club Speedway. Unlikely victory? Well, if you picked us up about halfway, you might have said, where did Jimmie Johnson come from? But it was a bit of luck, you might say, Kenny Wallace, that he was in the right place at the right time.
Can you believe that Jimmie Johnson pitted under the green flag, and when the caution came out, when the sequences were done and NASCAR ruled, Jimmie Johnson's still on the lead lap. He goes around, he's leading the race, and all the leaders have to pit. It's going to be hard to explain this, Kyle, but Jimmie Johnson.
We'll try.
Yeah, we'll try on the show.
I can't explain it, but I'm going to say this. It all starts back a couple of days ago. That's pit crew preparation. That's pit selection. That's right place, right time, perfect storm, pardon the gray skies, but perfect storm, okay, to keep him on the lead lap, because he could have just as easily been a lap down, got the wave by, and started that last restart in 18th or 19th position.
Let's take a look at exactly how Jimmie Johnson got it done in the final laps of this race. Of course, we'll have much more in-depth highlights later, but let's take a look, guys, at what happened here. Here, Kevin Harvick, another Californian, is trying to chase down Jimmie Johnson.
Hey, at this point, Kyle Petty, I'm saying the 29 is going to win it.
The 29, you got to give it. Here's 2 races in a row that Richard Childress Racing and Kevin Harvick, they could be sitting here 2-0 right now, just like Matt Kenseth was last year. He got a run down the backstretch, and Jimmy's thinking, I'm a sitting duck. He's run me down from almost half a straightaway behind in just 2 or 3 laps. Kevin goes in the corner here, opts to the outside, and when he goes, he's got a run on him right here.
Here he comes. This is showtime, baby, and this is the highlight reel for the finish. Whoop, 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 and that was it. Race over.
Once Kevin Harvick scraped the wall, Jimmie Johnson was able to pull away once again for his 5th victory at this racetrack. Also, it's a racetrack where he got his first win, so there's something about this place in the 4018.
But, you know, all I can say is, race fans, what else can we ask for? NASCAR has done a great job. Goodyear, this is a new Goodyear tire. The tire wore out, and that's the reason we had great racing all day long.
And it's a tweaking of the rules as well that benefited Jimmie Johnson. In years past, when you're on the pit road and the yellow flag came out, you were stuck. You were in trouble. But nowadays, if Jimmie Johnson was able to beat that leader back out beyond that commitment line or beyond the pit exit line, he could stay out.
Look, we can go into ifs and buts where candy or nuts every day would be Christmas.
Yep.
Let's go there. But here's the deal. I mean, let me tell you something. The 31 car, Jeff Burton's leading the race. If he would have had run that much faster or just stayed in the gas where you got to let off when the caution comes, he'd have had him lap down. So many things, the tweaking of the rules, the weather, the way that everything changed here today, it just fell in line for Jimmy and Chad.
And if you wonder why a team that has won so many of these races in the past is so happy because this happened here, it's because so much has to come together for a team to win a Sprint Cup Series race. As you take a look at the celebration going on, and Jimmie Johnson and Chad Knaus, when they saw each other on the pit lane just a little while ago, were looking at each other just shaking their heads. They said, man, we got this somehow, but we got it.
And right now they're doing the hat dance. Every sponsor in NASCAR wants their hat, you know, on the crew member for winning. But, you know, we never seen this coming. Jimmie Johnson was a good runner today, always in the top 5. But let's give a shout out to this new team that has rebounded, Richard Childress Racing. Look at these finishes, 2nd, 3rd, and 9th. That is incredible. That is all the RCR cars. Congratulations to Richard Childress. I thought they were going to win it today, Kyle.
Look, it showed for 2/3 of the race that they were. Let's give a shout out to Clint Boyer. My God, he comes down pit road. Things looks like a steam engine coming down pit road. He has to go back. He starts at the back and works his way back to a top 10 finish. Here's another one. You know, we can sit here and talk about, you know, the 29 car, Harvick being 2-0. We could sit here talking about Boyer being 2-0.
And I have to make an apology. It's 2nd, 3rd, and 8th. Clint Boyer finished 8th.
Took a position away from Clint. I'm sure
Didn't mean to do that.
About that. All 3 Richard Childress Racing cars in the top 10. When we come back to NASCAR Victory Lane on Speed, fueled by Sunoco, we'll take you from the green flag to the checkered flag and show you exactly how it unfolded for Jimmie Johnson.
NASCAR Victory Lane is fueled by Sunoco, the official fuel of NASCAR. Put the fuel of NASCAR in your car. Brought to you in part by AutoZone. For the auto parts, accessories, and advice you need, get in the zone, AutoZone. And by eHarmony.com. Are you ready to fall in love?
Welcome back to NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, and a little bit of numerical coincidence. This happens to be the 48th win for the 48 car, as long as Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus have been running the show. And boy, did they run the show today. This was race number 2 of the 2010 season, and also race number 20 in the relatively short history here at the Auto Club Speedway. Let's take you back to the green flag when everybody had their eyes on the skies, and we'll take a look at the first half highlights. You see the clouds in the background on the San Bernardino Mountains as we were wondering how much racing we were going to do.
And Jamie McMurray, your Daytona 500 winner, starts on the pole. He goes into turn 1. He wants this lead, but you know what? His teammate, Juan Pablo Montoya, says, oh no, you're not going to steal the show from me. The second week in a row, Juan Pablo takes the lead, Kyle.
Yeah, and you know, he basically checked out on these guys that first little bit. When you watch this, I mean, he was gone from the pack. Here he is by the time you get to the second or third corner, and he's already gone here. But later in the run, the 48 car running down, the sun was out at this point in time. The racetrack was a different racetrack, and when Juan finally broke and fell out, Juan said the racetrack changed and we didn't keep up with it good enough.
Heck of a good show for Juan Pablo Montoya. The number 42 car led the first 29 laps, but watch out, we have some very strong cars that are coming up through the field, and they're going to make their presence known.
And here comes Kevin Harvick, Team Richard Childress Racing. This was the first Childress car to show its strength, and this is only things to come. Look at him. He's strong, and this is what we've been talking about all winter long. And right there, the 43 car is getting lapped, so he's not fighting for position. That's A.J. Allmendinger.
Let's go in the pits now with the number 29 crew. Another great job for this group all day long for Richard Childress Racing. They were strong in the pits because Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer both got busted for speed, and so they had to fight their way back. It was the number 48, though, of Jimmy Johnson that got out just barely ahead of Kevin Harvick.
Just barely, and remember that white line, and remember that 48 car, because it comes into play later in the day.
In a big way.
Because of pit selection.
Oh, good tease, Kyle. You're right. And look here comes the Biff. Stick with the Biff. The Biff trying to win the Daytona 500 last week. He's saying, look at me. Boom! I'm going to hit the 4-time champion in the rear. Set him up the track. That was the Biffle saying, look, I'm serious, and I'm going to the front.
But Jeff Gordon said, look at me. I've won here 3 times before. It's going to be tough to pass me.
Watch this. Here we go.
Whoa.
You know, I don't even think he hit him, Kyle.
I think he just swept down across him, and we saw that a lot at Daytona, and that may be something new with these cars this year with that shark fin. As he swept down across, the car took off up the racetrack.
Yep, did not hit him.
There was a lot of racetrack here.
And there is a lot of racetrack used. And this shows how much racetrack there is. You know, Kevin Harvick takes the lead on the white line, but yet the 48 can stay with him. Here he comes back on the outside. All this racetrack, they're using it up.
Former California winner here, Casey Kane, just gets loose and goes through a ride through the grass.
Yeah, it really looked like, and we saw this a lot during the day, the cars coming up off turn 4 would push up, and if there was a car there, they would lose their nose, and when the grip finally came back to the nose, it would just snap, and that's exactly what happened to Casey. He pushes up, tries to stay off the 42 car, and spins himself.
Now you see the Olympic sign on Casey Kane's car. Watch this Olympic move by pit crew member Adam Mosser as he jumps over Kevin Harvick's car. This is a great move to save what could have been serious injury.
And at this time, this was the highlight reel of the day. People throughout the United States were going, wow, are we at the Olympics here at NASCAR?
And all the judges gave him high marks.
High marks. No, I give Kevin Harvick high marks too. If you see that, Kevin slows down. He understands the guys in harm's way.
So it's a good thing for Adam Mosser and everybody else. He's okay. We're glad to report that. But here we had the war of attrition beginning. It is Juan Pablo Montoya, one of his best racetracks here in California, and he loses the engine.
And at this time, the hits just keep coming. The 42 blows up. Here we go again. The 39 blows up of Ryan Newman.
Whoa.
And the hits will just keep coming later. Stay tuned. Ryan Newman is bummed out. Why? This is 2 weeks in a row. He is way down in the points, possibly 40th in the points because he is blowed up, or he wrecked at Daytona, blowed up here. So Ryan has had a tough start to the year.
And let us remember, though, Ryan Newman had a slow start to last season and ended up making the chase. Kyle Busch likes this racetrack because he became NASCAR's youngest winner at the time, winning his first race here, and he shows just how much he likes it. He comes out to the front, passing Jeff Burton.
You know, these guys, the draft comes into effect here. I don't think when we start talking about some of this stuff, you don't realize how much the draft comes into effect at this place. And we saw it, these guys getting loose up off the corner. We saw it at the same thing. These guys, they can almost use the slingshot. Everybody talks about the draft at Daytona and Talladega, but when you come to California, which is a 2-mile racetrack, the draft's apparent here.
And you also don't realize how close we came to having this race be a complete washout. There was black clouds all over the place, but we dodged them today. Only one slight rain caution. We'll be back to show you the rest of the race in a moment. Welcome back, everyone, to NASCAR Victory Lane on Speed, fueled by Sunoco at the Auto Club Speedway. When we left you a moment ago, the clouds were lingering in the distance. Cars were blowing up left and right. And here we have a battle of the lead between Kyle Busch and Jeff Burton, one of those very strong Richard Childress racing cars that had a great day today.
And I can't, tell you enough how impressed I am with Richard Childress Racing. This team was in disarray last year. Jeff Burton was the one keeping it together. Every one of the sound bites, every time Jeff Burton said something, he says, we're going to work hard, we're going to get it to Kyle. Here he goes into the lead, Jeff Burton.
Take a look at Jamie McMurray, your Daytona 500 winner, as he saves the car in a brilliant way after a little scrape with David Rudiman.
And that's amazing to me because we saw in the first set of highlights here how the 9 car tried to stay off the 42. Jamie didn't try to stay off anybody. That thing pushed up the racetrack, and he lost the nose completely.
And after a runner-up finish at Daytona, misfortune for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And Kyle, this was a case of the axle coming off.
Yeah, I'm gonna give my pit reporter here, my man who went and found out everything about this, Kenny Wallace.
Okay, so for all of Junior Nation, listen up. It was a right rear drive plate. The drive plate hooks to the hub, and that's what the axle hooks to. So right now, Dale Jr.'s right rear tire does not spin, puts him, 12 laps down. Dale Jr. ends up finishing 32nd.
Let's take a look at how Denny Hamlin got the cut tire. That looks like traffic out here on the 10, doesn't it?
Gosh,
like on the racetrack.
That's California traffic right there, okay? And these guys just got together, and if there is such thing as one of those racing things, and we hear it all the time, they got together, cut the sidewall in the thing, and he goes down. Here's the 12, and Rudiman again.
What?
Rudiman seems to be everybody's punching bag.
What are they doing, Kyle?
I don't know what they're doing right there,
cars.
but it came back to haunt the 12. So just remember that. It didn't haunt Rudiman, but it comes back. Here's the 12 coming up off the corner, and what he said was the left rear just came apart on me. Well, it came apart on you because you guys were knocking door handles down the straightaway, and that's what happens. You got to protect these cars, even though they're sturdy and they're safer. You got to protect them.
What a race off pit road. I think even Kevin Harvick at that point thought that he might have been the first guy. Jeff Burton might have been on. Jimmy Johnson got the lead as he crosses that white line, not the yellow line, before Jeff Burton.
And this is when the caution waved on the racetrack, and these guys, the 48 and the 18 that you just saw go by, those guys had already committed to pit road. That's the new rule. They can commit, you can come on in and pit. But what happened was the 18 later got the wave around, and the 48 went to the lead.
And that was the key to the victory, as Jimmy Johnson was trying to hold off fellow Californian Kevin Harvick. Harvick gets a little bit loose, scrapes a bit of wall, but that was all Jimmy Johnson needed.
Hey, what a stat. 2 California drivers, one from El Cajon, and I don't know where Kevin's from, but...
And an owner from Welcome, North Carolina, not happy with the outcome.
But I'm gonna say something here for Kevin Harvick. A lot was said last year. Is he happy at Childress? Does he want to be at Childress? He wants to be in a race car. Okay, and if that doesn't prove that Kevin Harvick wants to be in a race car, he drove the wheels off that thing those last 4 or 5 laps.
Jimmy Johnson gets his 5th win here at Auto Club Speedway, and take a look at how everybody ended up here. Once again, the Richard Childress Racing cars, all 3 in the top 10.
And I got to give a shout out to Joey Logano. I mean, race fans, this kid's young, and look at that, 5th place.
How about Scott Speed? Came in here as a go-or-go-home car, was the 2nd fastest of that group, finished 11th.
And we saw him lead a lot of Daytona last week on old tires. Scott Speed's impressing people. And the Hornish right there, and a Dodge, man. Those guys, the Penske organization, are the only Dodges.
Jeff Gordon was blowed up at the end of the race and finished 20th.
Elliott Sadler, A.J. Allmendinger from Richard Petty Motorsports, Max Pappas, and Denny Hamlin after the cut tire, relegated back to the 29th spot.
Looks like Travis Quabble hangs in there pretty good. Independent team. locked inside the top 35. Good for him.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. misfortune once again. That finish is not indicative of where he ran today. He spent much more time up front.
Kyle, I'm worried about Marcus Ambrose and Ryan Newman. Both of them broke the last 2 races. They're buried deep in the points.
You know, these first 5 races are the races that count, really towards the points and stuff, that top 35. And when you start looking at it, if you work your way into a hole in the first couple of races, it's hard to even recover in the next 2 or 3.
Points? We're talking points?
Yes, sir.
There
because
it
of
is.
the cutoff for the chase for the Sprint Cup Championship happens at race number 24. And, you know, Kyle mentioned that top 35. It is very important to stay in there. But the big story today is Jimmy Johnson with win number 5 at Auto Club. He's coming by to talk to us next. Welcome back, everyone, to Auto Club Speedway. This is NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, and we're not too sure what it was that fueled Jimmy Johnson to victory today, but there is no question about the fact he got his 5th win here. Congratulations to Jimmy Johnson, a Californian, on another win here at a California racetrack. And Jimmy, it was a little bit strange, the situation that happened, but when you're in the right place at the right time, it all works out for a win.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way around it. We were on pit road at the right time, and it worked out for us. When I first heard the caution was out on the radio, I was pretty bummed out and thought we were going to miss a chance at the top 5. And we left pit road, and we came around, and things cycled out, and it worked out where we were in the lead. So, you know, at that point, I had to step up and really drive the car and try to stay ahead of Kevin. My car was tight all day long. We made some big changes and got it loose there at the end finally, and Kevin was coming. So, you know, I knew he was coming. I went up and took his line away from him, and I guess he got into the fence or something at one point. But I was happy to see that gap open up once once I got rolling.
So, Jimmy, take us through this. You check him in the mirror going down the back straightaway. Is that what's going on?
Well, my spotter said he was running the very top. I need more room up at the top because I hit stuff too often like that. So I left that, you know, I got as close as I could. I left a lane up there in case my car slid up the track any further. And, you know, because I hit the wall like that all the time. I can't run next to the wall like Junior does. I will knock the fence down every time.
You guys started the race, and you pretty much led the thing. You were in the top 2 or 3. Did the racetrack change a lot during the day? Did you guys, how much did you have to chase it?
Yeah, we chased it a bunch. I think when the track rubbered up, our front end just didn't have enough grip, and we spent a large part of the day trying to get the front end to work, and then gave up on the front end and started going to the back of the car and trying to get, you know, take some away from the back so it would swing the rear end around. And we got it close there at the end. I was probably too loose at the end, but, you know, it worked out, thankfully.
Jimmy, at Daytona, you have hub problems in the rear of your car, and you always come back. You showed us last year how you come back. I mean, it's pretty incredible. From last week to the win here.
I know. You know, last week, I think we all know it from racing, that you go to Daytona, both Daytonas and both Talladegas, and you kind of remove your head from the rest of racing and say, you know what, this is a certain type of racing that you have to build cars for and abide by a certain set of rules. I had my hands full there, needless to say. That's when the hub broke. So you go there and you hope for the best, and if you don't come out with a trophy or you come out with a 35th place finish like I did, you just roll on, and that's what we did. And we really were not nervous, but excited and curious how this weekend would go, and we qualified well and won the race.
Hey, Jimmy, we know there's a certain advantage to home field advantage in the stick and ball sports, but there's something about you and this racetrack. What do you live? You grew up about an hour and a half away from here,
Yeah.
and if you look at the numbers, Daytona to Auto Club over the years, this has been the place where you have bounced back like you're back at home again.
Yeah, it's been a good track to me. There's In-N-Out Burger close by, a couple Mexican places
yeah,
that I
it's a
know
good
of. The beach isn't far away. My old hometown's just south of here. Life
just
is
feels good, right?
Except it's way too damn cold. It should not be this cold in sunny California right now.
But it didn't rain on us.
Off and on, but it didn't rain.
It tried. It tried real hard.
You know there's global warming. I should educate you.
Yeah, and it snowed in Charlotte like 3 times. Global warming, right?
That's it.
Hey, well, Jimmy, when you're hot, you're hot. And you're hot right now on the racetrack. How important is this as you go for the defense of the title to get out of the gate strong?
It is important. I mean, every point matters. 35th at Daytona is not good. Hopefully, you know, we climbed up to a good spot in the points here today. And, you know, it does a lot for Hendrick Motorsports, the engine department, chassis, bodies. We've all been working so hard and wondering if our stuff is going to work. So to come out here and perform well and have Mark up front a bunch, Jeff was up there, you know, it shows that we're working in the right areas and we're still competitive this year.
Okay, Jimmy, so this is my fun question. We do it every time you're in Victory Lane. You've won the race. We got Vegas next week, baby. What are you doing? You going gambling now, or are you going back to the East Coast?
I'm staying out here. We're going to go to the beach and hang out a little bit.
Good for you.
Relax and come to Vegas and I have to stay away from the tables before. That's my little superstition. I don't go to the tables and use up my luck before the race. I'm going to stay a couple days after and see what I can do.
Good for you.
Well, Jimmy, our friends at Sunoco would like you to sign this flag, and then we're going to give it away to a lucky fan as a momentum of this win. Here you go. You need a pen, too, don't you?
Got it.
Like he carries one in the race car with him. Come on, people.
No problem.
All right, congratulations,
Awesome.
Jimmy. Great job. Good job on the victory here, and best of luck as we continue on in this season.
Appreciate it.
Each week here on NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco, one lucky fan will receive a Sunoco checkered flag autographed by the winner of the race. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. There is the confetti-covered car, the number 48 for the 5th time in Victory Lane here at the Auto Club Speedway. And you know what? You got to be lucky and good to win races. But if you're very good and a little bit lucky along the way, you win championships. But Chad, the situation with you guys in the pits was not a situation of luck. It was a situation of your pit crew getting Jimmy out fast enough to beat that leader.
Yeah, when we came down pit road, we knew that we were, we weren't too far behind the 31 car at that point. So when we came down pit road and I saw the 12 car spin, everybody kind of checked up a little bit. And I said, guys, just do the stop. Nice and smooth. We did a really good job. Got both of our adjustments made. The right rear tire carrier was a little bit behind because he had to make a pretty substantial adjustment on the right rear, and they did it right there, and it was good. It was a very, very good stop, and we made it there by a couple car lengths. So
and
nice.
by NASCAR rule, if you get by that line before the leader, who is Jeff Burton right there,
yep,
you are the leader.
Yeah. So no, we're not the leader. But none of those other guys were going to pit. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't go a lap down, and that's what made it all happen. Because all of the guys that were on the lead lap at that point were going to have to come back around, pit, get tires and fuel, and we had already gotten service on the 48 car, so we were able to stay out.
You guys started.
You follow all that?
I think so.
I kind of.
I know. By the end of the show, we'll get it.
Yeah, we were trying to figure it out too. But you guys were at the beginning of the race when the sun was out. You were good.
Yeah.
And I asked Jimmy. He said you chased the racetrack all day, and you finally gave up on the front. And you just said we went to the rear and made a substantial adjustment on the rear during that stop. I mean, do you eventually just give up on one? And my question is, do you eventually, like he said, we just gave up on the front? And he said, I think we were a little bit too free, but I mean, give me that mind thought.
Well, obviously, what you want to do when you're trying to tune in a race car is you want to go through and try to get it to where whichever corner or whichever the front or the rear isn't working, you want to try to get that part working. You don't want to take away from the other. And we just couldn't get any more grip in the front of the car. So I was like, okay, I hate to say it, but we're going to have to pull a little bit out of the back to get the balance right in the car. And that's what we did. And man, it was fast there at the end. It was getting it going. So that was pretty cool.
Chad, I'm very impressed with last year you had problems at Texas, you come back and you win Phoenix. This year you do the same thing early in the year. Problems at Daytona and bounce right back. That seems to be your team's reputation.
I wish we could get rid of the problems part.
You don't have any, you don't have any problems. The point is you don't pay attention to problems. You win the next week.
Honestly, that's the mindset that this team has got, and we've always been that way. When we leave the racetrack, whether it's a Saturday night or a Sunday night show, no matter what happens, Monday at 12 o'clock, it's done. It's over with. You move on, and you have to start focusing on what's coming. And that's what we do. And in Daytona, even though Jimmy Spencer doesn't think that we had a good race car, we had a very, very good race car. And we were working our way back from. We were really ready to put ourselves in position to win the race. So it was unfortunate that we had that mechanical problem. But, man, we focused on trying to win that race down there, and we were putting ourselves in that position. So it was disappointing not to be in contention for it. But coming out here, we knew that we were going to have a good car, and we were stoked.
And the big picture of the year, talked to Jimmy at Daytona about when he hit the cone and knocked the front end in, and he wanted to fix the car, and you said, no, we're going this. He believes in you that much. How cool is it for you to believe in him to say, we're going to put you in a position, it's time to get up on the wheel, and I know you can do it.
Yeah, I think that's a neat thing. We do that to him quite often because he can pull it off. But it's exactly what it is. It's a trust thing. He doesn't second guess what calls it is that I want to make on the race car, very rarely anyways. And I feel comfortable with him if I give him and put him in a position like we did for the 150 on old tires in front of the pack, that he can get the job done. I mean, there's a reason why he's four-time champion. I mean, the man can drive a race car, and I think he just proved it again here today that he is, one of the, if not the best driver on the racetrack right now.
There's a reason you're a four-time champion, too. So
right.
let's be honest here.
I've got a heck of a team. That's the reason why I'm
We have not been able to cover what happened at Daytona. We've covered how you've won this race, and congratulations. Can you explain to the fans What happened at Daytona?
We lost a left rear hub, unfortunately. It's pretty uncharacteristic. We don't typically have mechanical issues with the 48 car, and the 24 car for that matter, and it was unfortunate that that happened. We went through, we looked at our procedures and the way that we go about installing all of that stuff and got it fixed. And right here what happened was the wheel bearing actually got so hot that it broke the axle. So
wow.
in the middle of 3 and 4, the left rear axle broke, and that's where we ended up.
Wow.
Unfortunately, not very pleased.
Good job, though. Save
Hey,
the car.
Chad, you guys bounce back. Congratulations on a great win. Here's a number for you. This is win number 48 for the 48 team.
Isn't that cool?
Pretty cool.
And the thing it's really neat about it, Jimmy and I were just talking, is it's the first place that we ever won a cup race. So
interesting.
So to do all that stuff here in Fontana, California, it's a pretty meaningful place for all of us.
Yeah, and chances are number 49 is coming the way of the number 48 team very soon. Congratulations to Chad.
Oh, wait, hang on.
Yes, sir.
Mr. H, buddy, we miss you. We know you're not feeling well and you're trying to get better, but we wish you were here, and I told you last night we were going to bring you that trophy.
All right, you promised him. You got it.
Good
Get
job,
well,
man.
Mr. H. We hope you feel better. And right now, we're going to talk about a real dangerous drive, not like a dangerous drive. You don't get one out here on the racetrack, but meet the daring who face fear behind the wheel. Wednesday, Speed takes you on a ride with the American soldiers who moved the Army's gear along Iraq's bomb-laden highways. All new dangerous drives only on Speed. Welcome back to Victory Lane, everyone. Fueled by Sunoco, coming to you from the Auto Club Speedway. You know, when Kevin Harvick came to this very desk after he won the Bug Shootout at Daytona, he said, now we have to finish it. And what he meant was he didn't just want to win the shootout and go away. He wanted to continue to run well throughout the rest of the year. He did exactly that today, finishing second at what he calls his home track. Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, if there was any question about RCR on the comeback trail after last year in the closing races and then early on this year, Kevin, you guys demonstrated that you guys are back and in force, and that was one hell of a finish between you and Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. Everybody on our Shell Pennzoil Chevrolet did a great job, and you know, I got the speeding penalty there early and made that all back up, and you know, Jimmy saw me coming there and moved up and kind of took my line away, and I just, you know, there's no room for error when you're running high like that. And I got a little tight and got in the wall with the right front and just knocked the fender in. But great day for RCR. All the cars were fast, and keep running like that, we'll win our share.
Overall, the race was absolutely amazing for the race fans. Was it from your perspective as well? I mean, you're all over the map. I mean, we didn't know strategy-wise what was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely exciting. I know Jimmy and I had a really good race at the beginning. There at the end, you know, I thought it was going to be the same thing, but it came down to one mistake, and I made it.
Okay, Kevin Harvick short on the win, but edges out his teammate, Jeff Burton, for second place.
Well, of course, you come out here every time to win, guys, but second place finishes and top fives, that's what's going to get you in the championship chase and give you a shot at the end of the year.
Well, I like this story about Kevin Harvick. You know, halfway through last year, he made it clear to Richard Childress, his car owner, that he was not happy the way the team was running. It was hard for him to run 25th last year. He was running in 25th position. So Kevin Harvick, Team Richard Childress, all the teammates, they get it going. And sometimes, you know, you got to, you know, voice your displeasure. I'm not happy. And then that gets the team going. And Kyle, I think they got the team going.
They've definitely got the team going, man. When you look at where the 33 car of Boyer comes back to, when you look at the 29, when you look at Jeff Burton's been a team leader since he's been over there. And I think a lot of what Jeff said last year, he was quietly going about the business of reorganizing Richard Childress Racing, getting it headed in the right direction. Danny Lawrence, those guys in the engine room are obviously providing power. Okay, let's just say that because it shows on the racetrack. At the same time, the chassis group and the aero group has stepped up, which makes the drivers step up, which makes the team step up, and the next thing you know, they're 1 and 2 in points.
Jed's a millionaire.
That's it. First thing you know.
Let's go back to Randy Pemberton, who's standing by with the other side of the equation, Jeff Burton.
Well, all the things lined up for Jimmy Johnson in the last caution and coming down pit road in a timely fashion, but those guys at Hendrick Motorsports certainly knew Richard Childress Racing was there today, Jeff. Congratulations on a great effort, all of you combined.
Well, it was a good run. All of us ran really well, and we've worked. Our guys have worked exceptionally hard. Obviously, we weren't what we needed to be last year, and our guys just really, you know, started working. And Richard gave us a lot of funding and gave us a lot of resources to go out and do a better job, and everybody's done that. They really showed, you know. The 48 got lucky about getting the caution, there's no doubt, but they executed when they got lucky, and that's something that, you know, you can't take away from them. And you know, everybody that doesn't like them will say they just got lucky, and they did. But getting lucky is only part of the deal. You have to execute on it, and they did that, and I have a lot of respect for that.
Well, talk about executing. The tire that we had here, to me, provided perhaps the best race that we've ever seen at California. You were part of that, I think, as well. Tell me a little bit about what it was like out there and as you went from green flag to the end of a run.
Well, I think you're going to see better racing all this year because I think Goodyear's done so much better of a job with the tire with this car. And we did the tire test out here. They brought some really good stuff. Casey Kane and I did the majority of the testing, and we both came to the same conclusions. And Goodyear listened to us and did a really nice job. And they've been doing that a lot. And I think that you're going to see really good racing because Goodyear's really stepped it up. And I'm real proud of what Goodyear's done. And the fans are going to be benefactors of that because the quality of racing is going way up.
Nice fight to the finish with your teammate.
Thank you. It's fun.
Second, third, and eighth for Richard Childress Racing. And Kyle Petty, you've been around Jeff Burton long enough to know that if you're in a rebuilding process, there's probably not a better guy to have around, a statesman of the game, there to keep everybody's head level.
Look, he was ecstatic for running third, but at the same time, he gives credit where credit's due to the 48 team. I think you look at that. At the same time, I think it's easy to say that when you know you're going to kick their butt at some point in time. You know what I mean? It's easy to say, yeah, I like those guys. I'm going to give you credit, Kenny. Look in your mirror, man. I'm coming. I'm coming. And I think that's what he's saying when he does that.
I want to break down what Jeff Burton's talking about the tires. Earlier this morning on race day, I said, race fans, be ready. This will be the year that you've all been looking for. Goodyear made us a better tire. It has grip, but the tire gives up. So that way, if my car is not handling, I'll get slower, and if somebody else is handling, here they come. So what you've seen today was nobody running away. So race fans, remember, it was Goodyear that put racing back in your hands to where you are happy now. I want to congratulate Goodyear. Of course, Jeff Burton led up the tire test, and these drivers helped Goodyear find this tire.
Third place finish for Jeff Burton. Good run for him as they begin the rest of the season after California, moving on to Vegas and other places beyond that where RCR will continue to try to make their comeback year. We also want to remind you that you can watch the best of NASCAR on Speed shows online on demand. Go to the video section of speedtv.com or NASCAR.com each weekend for interviews, highlights, race recaps from our favorite speed programs such as Trackside, Race Day, Victory Lane, and more. This Thursday on Speed, it's an all-new bull run with Bill Goldberg. An unexpected twist forges new alliances, but when 200 grand is on the line, who can be trusted? Don't miss an all-new bull run with Bill Goldberg Thursday night at 10 o'clock Eastern on Speed. Well, when some guys retire, they get out the dark socks, the flip-flops, the metal detector, and go to the beach. When Mark Martin retired, he became one of the most competitive Sprint Cup drivers ever over 50 as he continues to run for the championship once again. Finished in the 4th spot today, and after the race, he spoke with Randy Pemberton.
Mark Martin with a solid day here at the Auto Club 500. Mark, that was an exciting race for the race fans. How'd you see it? I know you didn't start off where you wanted it, but boy, towards the end, you gave it everything you had.
Man, what a great racetrack to race on. And to think they were thinking about tearing this place up and doing something different with it. That was perfect. The Goodyear tire was awesome, and everybody on the GoDaddy.com Chevy team just, you know, they gave me a great race car. It was really fun. Sometimes we were the heat, and sometimes we were dropping back, but it was fun. Sometimes, you know, just a lot of weather change in, out. My car was really good, sun out, and that last run we just we didn't make a big enough adjustment, and there we were. So, yeah, really great run. I love driving this car.
Mechanically, everything sound for you? Any close calls on the racetrack for you? Anything like that?
Yeah, there's close calls. All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Especially at these speeds.
Yeah.
All right, that's Mark Martin with a nice solid top 5. He finishes 4th here today in the Auto Club Speedway.
You know, we talk so much about the recent domination by Roush Fenway Racing at this racetrack, but you know the actual leader is Hendrick Motorsports. Kyle, it shouldn't come as any surprise to us. They've now won 9 at this racetrack, but it shouldn't come as any surprise to us today. They had 2 cars in the top 5.
No, it shouldn't come as any surprise. They had 3 cars in the top 5 and the top 3 cars in points last year, okay? And that was a big deal. But, you know, I look at this and I hear the driver interviews, and it's funny because everybody has badmouthed this speedway for the last 5 or 6 years. When's the racing going to get better? When's the racing? There was a good race at California Motor Speedway, at Auto Club Speedway, today. It was a really good race, and it was a competitive race for multiple reasons. NASCAR tweaked the rules a little bit, changed some things with the car, made the car different. Goodyear comes with a different tire. These guys have another year under their belt with the car. The planets are aligning for this car and for this type of racing on tracks like California, at other tracks we go to be really good racing this year. 09 is going to be a good year. Our 10 is going to be a good year.
And I would like to point out what Mark Martin said. Mark Martin made a point for you fans to understand, look, this is a great racetrack. It was a great race. I had close calls all day long, and that's what we're trying to do is give recognition. Now, look, race fans, here we go.
It's like a parking lot.
Hey, race fans, what? Oh, the racing's not good. Come on now. Let's get off our seat and look at this. Come on. This racing's incredible. 1, 2, 3, 5. Hey, look, Danica Patrick right there in the middle.
No, that's the other GoDaddy car.
Oh, I thought it was Danica. It's Mark, the kid Martin. I was having fun with y'all. Calm down. Okay.
I think that's what everybody said. They freaked out like, hey, it's probably a pretty good time to take a break right now.
Yeah, that was good, though. That was good.
All right, we got to take another break here on NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco. When we come back, we'll put a wrap on this day here. And as the clouds stayed away from us at Auto Club Speedway, we're going to go to Las Vegas next. We take our traveling road show up to Sin City and maybe find some Kyle Petty impersonators along the way. They got the Elvis guys in there. We'll be back in a moment.
NASCAR Victory Lane is fueled by Sunoco, the official fuel of NASCAR. Put the fuel of NASCAR in your car. And brought to you in part by Cheerios, 100% natural whole grain oats and only 1 gram of sugar.
Welcome back, everyone, to Auto Club Speedway. Got a big Monday night headed your way tomorrow. First, it starts out with NASCAR Race Hub, 7:30 Eastern Time. NASCAR in a Hurry at 8 o'clock Eastern wraps up the whole weekend. And then it's time for What's the Deal? With Jimmy Spencer. If you want to get your question on with Spence, email the show at thedeal@speedtv.com. And you know what? I think Chad Knaus might be doing that as we speak. He might be emailing Spence.
Can I just say that Chad Knaus already disagrees with Jimmy Spencer? Tune in to Jimmy Spencer's show. It's incredible.
Already, that disagreement's been going on for 7 or 8 years, I think.
That's good.
But all the more reason to tune in. And right now, we're going to check in with the pride of Middletown, Connecticut, Joey Logano, who recently took over the position as youngest winner ever in Sprint Cup from Kyle Busch, who got it done right here at California. But now Joey came home with a solid top 5 finish. Let's go back to Randy.
Well, Joey Logano carries the banner for Toyota in their backyard here in Southern California. Joey with a nice top 5 finish. Come home 5th today. What a race that was. How was it from your perspective?
It's a lot more fun when you can see the front of the pack, that's for sure. That's an awesome run for the Home Depot Toyota, and the whole team. We really needed it. After Daytona, we got in a wreck. We luckily finished 20th or so, but I feel like that was really good, especially from where we were last year when we came here, and to see the improvements. It feels like a win, to be honest with you, after all the stuff we've been through in a year, and to come back and to be able to show what you improved. That means a lot to me and to the whole team. It goes to show, hard work always pays off. So that makes it fun as a driver to see that.
And what about your feel in the race car, too? I know you didn't start off this race where you wanted it to be, and those guys had to have worked on it, so it must have been good communication between you and Zippy.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. After Daytona, we had a little heart-to-heart and, try to figure out what we need to make the next step. And I feel like we didn't do a great job in Daytona on making the car better and me not giving them good enough information. And I felt like today I was able to really just focus on one thing and be able to help him out as much as I can to help him do his job. So, to see all that come together after that and come out the top 5, I'd say I couldn't be more happy about it.
Great run for Joey Logano here in Southern California at the Auto Club Speedway in the Auto Club 500. Joey comes home in 5th.
Thanks, Randy. Way to go, Joey Logano. Back out here with the members of our board, Kenny Wallace and Kyle Petty. And when you look at the top 5, you see the 3 Chevrolets. Then you see the Toyota. You got to go a ways down to see the Ford, and the Fords have been so dominant at this track for a while.
And that's a little surprising. But let's go back. The Fords ran their last year's engine combination, too. I mean, that was a big deal. We've heard about their new engine. They ran that last year's engine combination. Was that part of it? I'm not sure, but I'm going to tell you something. When you look at the way Childress has come out and performed, and you look at the way Hendricks performed over the last few years, it's tough if you're in a Toyota or something. That was a great job for Joey. I got to give him that. I mean, to come from where they were, this may be the first time I've seen Joey run a race on Saturday, and that competitiveness and that desire transfer over to Sunday.
Oh, he was
upset.
It transferred
here.
Yeah, he was upset yesterday.
He was.
And
yes,
certainly,
he was.
Certainly the competitive fire burned today.
Hey, he's 18, 19-year-old Joey Logano?
18.
He'll be 18?
No, I'm kidding. He's 19.
He's 19 years old. Joey Logano, how would you, yes, I'm pointing to you, how would you like to be 19 years old and have 2 top 5s at Auto Club Speedway?
I'd love it.
This kid's got it going on. I'm proud of him. but he needed to look at the tape from yesterday's race because he was
Just
wrong.
go ahead and throw that in. Just go ahead and throw it.
I love Joey Logano. He lives by my house, so I can't badmouth him. Would I?
He'll come by your house.
He'll come by me and beat me up. Too skinny, though.
While we're on the subject of young drivers doing well, you know, Joey Logano went and won in his hometown track at Loudon last year. Also, Kyle Busch did it last year at Las Vegas when he won there, and it was, you know, somewhat of a homecoming for him as a guy who grew up in Vegas. Very emotional win for Kyle Busch, and now we're going back to that very racetrack.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to tell you who else. Kurt runs out there. And I'm going to tell you, that may be your sleeper going out and out there. You look at the emotional win for Kyle when he wins out there, but I'm going to tell you, the Penske team and the Dodges, when you look at the scoreboard up here, the Dodge was 6th with Kurt Busch. They were strong at Daytona. They were strong here today with Kurt. That team, new crew chief, new organization, the way they're positioning themselves, I'm going to tell you, it may be an emotional win for Kurt Busch next week.
And is it appropriate to say about 40% of the racetracks we run on are similar in characteristics to Las Vegas? So when you look at the results at a track like that, you also are getting a pretty good taste about what we might see throughout the rest of the season.
Well, Vegas is a special place to go. Now, for example, NASCAR is making me go there tonight. So I have to go to Vegas tonight.
You have to go to Vegas.
Poor guy.
It's gonna.
I have to go to Vegas.
All the fans are like, "Whoa!" Listen, this is a lot of fun. The point I'm making is this: NASCAR going to Las Vegas is a lot of fun. There's a lot of special things going on this week. People are having poker tournaments to raise money. I think Kurt Busch is having go-kart races to raise money. So Vegas is fun. And there's going to be a race, so come on out.
Yeah, let's not forget, Kyle, there's a race at the end of the week.
There's a race in Vegas. That was a good point there, Kenny.
Hey, hit me. Double down. Split them.
I've never made those calls. I don't know, man. I work hard for my money. I'd rather just buy, like, something to take home to my wife because she would love me because that's what you should do, too.
I'm not going to gamble. I'm saving money for my new concrete driveway in St. Louis, Missouri.
Now, under NASCAR rules, the first 5 races of the season, the top 35 is set from last year's owner points. So there's some cars right now that are locked into races for the first 5 races of the season. But, guys, who should worry as we start getting closer and closer to that Bristol cutoff before we start reverting to this year's points?
Well, I want to look at Boris Said's car owner because they spent a lot of money buying these car owner points. Car number 26 spent a lot of money buying these owner points from Jack Roush. They're going to be outside the top 35 if they don't pick their points, their pace up, and the money they spent will be mute. Now, we got to also look, Kyle, at Ryan Newman, and we got to look at Marcos Ambrose. Those are the heavy hitters. I look here.
Yeah, and this is Ryan blowing up. Ryan, all the way down to the last 5 or 6 laps, and then ends up 30-something, I think, at Daytona, and then here back past 35th. When you dig yourself a hole 1 race into the year, that's one thing. When you dig yourself a hole 2 races into the year, and it's not a big deal. These are competitive teams. These are teams that can go to the racetrack and qualify. But the trick is, what if you go to the racetrack and you're outside that top 35 and you get into the wall, or you bobble a little bit, or a tire's out of balance, or a plug wire comes off? And we've seen it happen so many times. Some of these guys can go home. They got to fight this point deal, these first 5 races hard.
Then you miss a race, and while your competitors are out there running around and you get no points, it can certainly put a damper on your hopes to make the following race. Race fans, we want to remind you that every Sunday night throughout this season at 8 o'clock on Sunday night, we will be here in Victory Lane with the big winner, the winning crew chief, and the winning owner. Jimmy Johnson got his time in the sun today, and chances are we may see him again at a Victory Lane near you very soon. Monday on Speed, it's a NASCAR Race Hub at 7:30, and that leads us into a big night of continuing NASCAR coverage on Speed. Let us now take a look in the rearview mirror.